What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
And that's right, the first week of the playoffs have come and gone, and we have even more people disappointed in their fantasy football season than what we had last week when we had to cut 4 teams. And now we lost 4 more as only 4 teams remain left for the chase to the trophy. I don't even know if that even makes sense. But going into the scores from this week, I had the high point total with 161 to beat the Raging Boners, who only had 101. If you guys are counting, that's a 60-point win. Bart, you best be worried for next week, as you pick up the win over Team Minivan 132 to 92. Then Old Smuggler pulls out the win there over Jacks On, Jacks Off 126 to 101. And then Cocktoberfest finally beats Liquor in the Front, Poker in the Back for the first time this year, 120 to 106. Jared has actually beat Trevor twice already this year, was looking to make it a 3rd time. And given Jared's luck, I wouldn't put it past him for him to do it. And then for the teams that didn't make the winner's bracket part of the playoffs, we have the Inglorious Bastards picking up the final win of the year, 98 to 86 over Bradshaw Shank Redemption. And the Grand Slam Breakfast Squad, who's had a hot second half, picks up the win over BFE Baltimus 117 to 96. Guys, I'm sorry I'm not going to go into your game so much, but at least I announced the scores. You know, I did a good enough job as commissioner to announce the scores. But let's get into the playoff games, as I had big points from everyone. Brady, LaShawn McCoy, Vic Ballard, Brandon Marshall, Brandon Lloyd as well. Just big games from everyone. I think this might be actually the most points I've scored this year. Boner, you still score 101, which would have been enough to either tie Yates or beat Team Minivan. But you had CJ Spiller that didn't get very many points, and Hilton himself didn't have a very big game. And then you throw in the fact that he lost RG3 in the 3rd quarter. I mean, odds stacked a little against you right there with that injury halfway through that game there. But regardless, the commission moves on. And then getting to former child stars, Bar, you pick up big points from everyone. Everyone on your roster scores big points except your running back, Bryce Brown. But, I mean, good news for you. You pick up that Bell guy, the backup there in Detroit, who had, 13 points? You always seem to find those little running backs that are like 2nd, 3rd string on the depth charts that end up starting a game or two where they pick you up some decent points. Edwards, your team, I mean, Schaub, has an off week this week, only gets you just a few points. And then you throw in AJ Green doesn't put up very many points. That's the first. I think the 7 points this week might be the lowest he's put up all year. And then you throw in the fact that LaFell got you 0 as he didn't even play. Fucking turf toe. I don't know what the hell that is, but it seems to get a lot of players. Moving on, Old Smuggler gets the big win there by 25 points over Yates. Yates, man, I've been saying all year, man, your receivers have been the death of you. I mean, if you could just have a few solid weeks back-to-back from your receivers, you'd have a pretty solid team. But, man, they just turned out to be your Achilles heel there. And then Tanner, I mean, once again, your team's probably one of the most consistent teams over the last few weeks. I said it even last week. I think your lowest spot there is your tight end, but, I mean, you still have Antonio Gates, who has a chance or the possibility of putting up big points. And then you throw in the fact, I mean, who are you going to start at QB with Cam Newton putting up points like he has lately? Might have to go back and rethink things there with the quarterback. Got to figure out what you're going to do. And Trevor's in the same spot as he got the win over Liquor in the Front, Poker in the Back with Crabtree and Pierre Garçon. Both put up big points this week, as you had Garçon on in the starting lineup and then Crabtree on the bench. But now with Kirk Cousins as starting quarterback, do you want to risk Garçon in the starting lineup during the playoffs? Or would you go with Kaepernick, who's, proven he can actually throw the ball a little bit and still gets Crabtree the ball? So, Trevor, I'm going to try to get inside your head. It's something to think about. Please overthink it and make a mistake. But, Jared, man, your magical season comes to an end. I don't know how you pulled off all those wins this year, but that 3rd win in a row against Trevor, just not going to happen. As, I mean, I don't think Kaepernick put up too big of points, and then, the rest of your roster just never's really been there all year. But, what can he do? At least he made the playoffs. But for now, let's get into this week's Justin Yates Hard Hit of the Week.
Oh, you express clothes. Get it.
That's not happening anytime soon.
Give more. Get it. Get it.
And this week's Justin Yates Hard Hit of the Week goes to the 4 guys that now lost in the playoffs. The quick first round exit, and that is Boner, Adam, Justin, and Jared. Guys, I'm sorry. It was nice to see you in the playoffs, even though it was one game, but you gotta get out. Now, I would go into EFL's close call of the week, but I feel like, we're past it. We're past that. So, going into next week, I will be taking on Barr, and looking at that matchup, I'm not feeling too confident because I have my quarterback Brady at the 49ers, and the rest of my matchups are looking awful. And then you throw in the fact that Barr has Doug Martin, who's been going off all year against the Saints defense. I mean, the Saints are one of the worst defenses in the league. So I'm not feeling too confident about that. And then you throw in the fact that, he has Julio Jones against the Giants, Hakeem Nicks at Atlanta, and then Denario Alexander against Carolina, who's also a pretty bad defense, and he's been putting up points all week. So not feeling too confident there, but hey, man, it's fantasy football. You never know. And then the other semifinal, Old Smuggler and Cocktoberfest, if we take a quick look at that one, Trevor's got a little bit better record thanks to all those fucking ties he's gotten all year. But he has Andrew Luck at Houston. But lucky for him, he has Arian Foster running against those Colts D. And we all know the Colts run D is just god-awful. And then he's got to figure out, is it Pierre Garçon with Kirk Cousins at QB, or do you go Michael Crabtree with Kaepernick? And then Tanner, you have Cam Newton against San Diego. I mean, San Diego is another terrible defense. Obviously, that's looking like the matchup. And then you have Richardson at Washington. Noshawn Marino at Baltimore. Baltimore is actually one of the worst run defenses in the league. And then you throw in Thomas at Baltimore, Decker at Baltimore, and then Kenny Britt, who put up big points last year. I'm going to have to give the edge to Tanner. So my predictions is Tanner and Barr in the playoffs, but like I said, you never know. It's fantasy football. And I can't believe we're already here. We're in the semifinals of the playoffs. Man, this whole year's gone fast. But until next week when we go over the scores, I will talk to all you fools later, and as usual, fuck you.